All right, I'm gonna show you exactly what it takes to get an over 800 credit score. I'm gonna go through my exact accounts, exact dollar amounts, no fluff, just real information so you can kind of see what you need to do to get an 800 credit score. I'm gonna give some tips along the way as well. So let's go to the whiteboard and let me break it down for you. All right, so let's get started. My credit score is at 837. I'll have it up on the screen so you can kind of see it. We'll break it down. I'm on my Experian credit report right now, and I'm just gonna break it down by accounts that are open, closed for each type of category. I might put this up on the screen as well so you kind of see. I just have to hide some of the banker information, but let's start with credit cards. So how many credit cards do I have? I have an Apple Card. I'm just gonna call it an Apple Card. I just paid this off, so I owe $0, and the credit balance is actually 37,000. Sorry, that's the credit limit. So that's my limit on that card. We're gonna go down to a Capital One. I have a Capital One card. I owe $6 on that. And that limit is, Capital One sucks, by the way, guys. So on that, I have a limit of $2,650. It's one of my first cards I got. I also have a Chase card. I love Chase. I owe 30 bucks on this Chase card. And the limit on that Chase card is 21,500, so 21,000. I have another Chase card. I owe $0 on it, so 0. And my balance on that is 28. Not my balance, my credit limit, 28,400. So that's my credit limit. One more Chase card. I owe $3 on it, and my limit is 19,500. And I'm kind of getting a lot done here, so let's go back. We're gonna go into some of the closed credit cards that I have. I'm gonna pop them up here. I have a Capital One that's closed, and a Boscov's card that's closed. This is when I was younger. These are all closed, meaning I just was not using them, so they closed it on me. That's actually not good. You actually want to keep these things open. It helps build age of credit history, which helps you. So these are actually closed. So quick tip, improve your credit score. You can see whatever I owe is very little compared to my limit. You want to stay under 10%. So if you have a $1,000 credit limit, you can't go over 100 bucks. The moment you go over 100 bucks, you're going to start impacting your score. So let's move over to any type of credit lines that I might have. I actually forgot one of the credit cards here, so we're going to try to squeeze it in if we can. We'll just move this up a little bit. So one of the other credit cards I have an Amazon card. I'm just call it AC. And on that, I buy a lot off of Amazon. I used to be their regional IT manager over 3 different countries. So I owe 1,700. My limit is 10,000. Again, still following pretty much that 10% rule. Let's go into credit lines on my personal credit lines. I do have a HELOC, a home equity line of credit on my home that I used to launch my business. And that is at, I'm not gonna say the bank, but let's just call it a bank. And that is right now at 40,000. That's how much I owe. And then the actual line is actually for 100 and, let me pull it up here, 114,000. 14K. So I used this money, launched the business, and was able to generate a lot more than what I owe. I could pay this off if I really wanted to, and I actually should because the interest rate is kind of high. So that's all I have for credit lines on my account. Let's go into the auto. So if we go to auto, this is a big one. I'm a big car guy. So if we go to auto, I have multiple loans here. Right now I have 3 big ones, not 3 big ones, but let's just call it 1, 2, 3. I have a vehicle in the other state that I do work in. I owe 22K on that. I have another vehicle I bought for my fiance. That's the Mommobile. I owe 15K on that. And then my Lamborghini Urus, I owe $153,000 on it. So that's auto. Now let's look at closed accounts for auto, because I do have a few closed accounts for auto as well. So we're just gonna go under here. We're gonna go to closed accounts. We have, I'm just gonna list them out because it's a lot. So let's go through some of the closed accounts. I have one car here. I have another car, another car, another car, another car, and another car. So I've had a total of that amount of car loans that I have either paid off or I sold it, traded it in, whatever the case may be. So a total of 6 cars. I don't put the exact car because then you kind of reverse engineer and do a lot of information that way. So, all right, cool. So we went over credit cards. Let's go over here. Credit cards, credit lines, auto, good stuff. Let's go into home. IO on my home. I'm just gonna put a little house here. 455,000, but it is appraised at roughly 670,000. So I have a lot of built-in equity in the property. That's all I have for home real estate loans. I don't have any other homes. So now let's go into student loans. This is a very interesting one. So I'm just gonna call this student loans, SL. I have 2 student loans. These are from 2010. So 2010 student loans, and I owe, there's 2 of them. I owe 129 on one and 187 on the other one. Now, I know you're wondering, this is from 2010. How do you still owe this money? The original loans were a total of probably like $3,000. What I did a few years ago, probably, because I think it's like a 20-year loan or a 30-year loan, whatever the case may be. A few years ago, I actually took about 90% of the money and I threw it on these payments. So I got the loan from $3K down to only owing about $150, $200, $300. And it allowed me to keep the account open since 2010 till right now. It's still open till this day. I could pay this off if I wanted to, but my monthly bill right now is $0. Since I paid so much, I've paid so many years in advance, every month it just says, hey, paid off, $0, $0. And it just helps my credit because this is helping me with credit age. You want to keep accounts open for as long as you can so you have a good average credit age over at least really 4 to 5 years. You want to have your average age account. So anytime you add a new account to your credit profile, you're going to lower your age of credit history, and that's not good for your credit. All right, cool. So student loans all done, and then personal loans. Let's go over here. Personal loans is very interesting. I actually opened this up probably in 2020 when I wanted to continue to fix my credit. I have something called Credit Strong. You can Google this. Credit Strong. And basically the way it works is it's kind of a fake personal loan. It's you're gonna pay them a fee for them to actually basically give you a loan. So if you have a hard time qualifying for a personal loan to help improve your credit, whatever the case may be, I needed more accounts on my credit. So what I ended up doing was I went to Credit Strong and I opened an account. And the way this works is I opened I'll kind of explain it here in a second. I opened a $4,500 account. And all this really means is I'm going to pay them. They don't give me this money. This money is not given to me. It's put into like a savings account. And every month I have to pay, I think it's like 40 bucks. For the last several years, I've been paying 40 bucks. So I pay 40 bucks towards this. Once this hits $0, they give me that money. So it's basically like a savings account. So I've been paying $40 into this account, getting it to 0. Once it hits 0, they give me the money back. The reason why I did this is this showed up as my credit as a loan. Even though it's not really a loan, it's helping my credit. It's been helping my credit. I've been making on-time payments for quite some time now. It looks like I opened this up actually in, yeah, it's been a while. So that's actually, believe it or not, that's my entire credit profile. I am gonna pull some inquiries up just so you guys know, because inquiries also affect your credit. Let's just go over here. We'll call it IQ. And inquiries fall off after 2 years, and they don't really have any impact on your credit after 12 months. So I'm only gonna show you what's been on here for about 12 months. So I have about, when I was trying to get my Lamborghini, they had to do a lot of credit pulls. So they ended up actually pulling 4 just for the car, which I could actually erase a lot of these, but my credit is perfect, so I haven't even gone through the trouble. And then in July of this year, I had another one for a business funding opportunity. Basically, they like to look at your personal credit profile to pull information, and that was for business funding. I'm just gonna call it BF. And that's pretty much it. So let's just do a quick recap. 837 credit score. Few things to note. My credit cards, all very, 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 very low balance. Very, very high credit limit, because managing debt, that's the game. Your credit score is how well can you manage your debt. If you can show them that you can manage your debt, you're always going to get a higher credit score. Credit lines, my home equity line of credit, 40,000, use that to launch the business, making a lot more revenue than that. My auto, I have 3 current autos. I had a lot of previous history with my auto, making sure you have no missed payments. And then home and student loans. And then we have personal, a personal loan, which again, it's very, using the Credit Strong account. And then inquiries, I kind of showed you my inquiries. So now the last and final thing is, what about negative items? Negative items on my account. So missed payments, collections, closed accounts, I have 0. So complete big 0 for negative items. All right, so that's how I was able to achieve an 837 credit score. I didn't always have this credit score. My credit score used to be around the 580, 600, 620. I've been working very, very hard over the last few years to get a credit score this strong, and I found out the actual key is just to make sure you manage your money wisely and don't get into debt that you can't handle. Obviously, it looks like I have a lot of payments, but I make a lot of money to be able to afford this, which helps me improve my credit score and keep it very, very strong for the last several years. If you're looking to learn more, I have a lot of free information down below. Just click the link and I'd love to work with you.